But I think it's really hard to find people that you can build such beauty with and also just like genuinely like love. Like for me, it's like couple goals.
I definitely think in a way we manifested each other into each other's lives. It was like that serendipitous moment where it's like the Big Bang is like everything just all of a sudden makes sense. So we had no idea that Sound and Soul would be what it is now. We were just like, let's just make it and let's just see what happens. And then it stuck so well. And after that first event, I think we both just truly felt even more of a spark, not even within just our relationship, but about our whole idea and vision for what we wanted for Sound and Soul.
Yeah. I think a big piece of it is also like you're serving so many people and
Hmm.
you're both, I think, just like genuinely like energy givers, but like in a very positive way, right? So how does that like
Yeah.
not like bound together?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. Like we just wanted to give, we just wanted to give. We just wanted to provide and be of service in the best way possible, in the purest form of love possible,
Yeah.
And me having the experience with meditations, I already saw the power and the benefits of it.
Yeah.
So whenever she came in with the sound, and it was just from the moment I heard her play, I just heard how like soulful her piano playing was. It was like she would close her eyes and she would just play, and she would literally play with her heart. And like you can
Yeah.
tell if you ever watch it, you know what I mean? Like
Oh,
even
feel
just
it.
hearing it,
Yeah.
yeah, you can feel it. You can feel it. And I felt that and I was like, oh my God. I was like, yes, yes, the purest form of creation, the purest form of love, and just having the purest intention behind it. And it's like whenever you have such good intentions like that, you can just never go wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What would you say is the biggest impact on the nervous system? Would you say sound is a big impact? Sometimes
Mhm.
they say journaling, meditation. I've discovered it's a blend, right, of like different hurt sounds and like the environment and the sounds you're around, and then obviously
Right.
how you can go in. But what would you suggest? Or
I definitely think it is a blend, and I think it's different for everybody. Like for me, because I lead meditation and stuff like that, like I've always been a writer. I've always written poetry. I've always written music, and journaling was a way for me to process. For
mm,
her, her process was always playing piano, playing music, doing something in terms of sound. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And so I feel like it's different for everybody, but I do know that like for the nervous system, I think sound and breath are one of the top two things that will, within seconds, completely change your nervous system because sound has such an impact on your brain waves, your neural pathways, all of those things. And the breath work really opens all that up. And not even just breath work, just breathing and taking full breaths in opens you up to everything. You know what I mean? And so even whenever you're journaling and if you're going through stuff, piano music in the background is going to help you write down those emotions way more clear. You know what I mean? Taking deep breaths as you're writing is going to help you be able to regulate your emotions as you're writing it out. You know what I mean? So I think that sound and breath are definitely one of the top two. And I've also learned just in this time period how sound is one of the first, like our hearing is one of our first senses that we ever develop in the womb, and that's why people talk to like the baby inside the mommy's belly because they can hear better in the belly than whenever we actually come out in the world because everything's underwater in there and it's like the vibrations and all of that. Yeah, it's crazy, but the baby can actually hear all of that. And I thought that was just so fascinating. And then it made so much sense why if we're in such a weird mood, you play a song and all of a sudden your mood changes. You know what I mean? If you're in a
yeah,
sound bath and you play a certain frequency, certain things are happening in your body, you know? And one of the things like Julie's piano, she tunes it to 432, which is a very heart opening frequency. It's very inviting. And so you feel that whenever you're laying down, even if you don't realize you're feeling it, you just notice you feel so much more open
mm,
to everything that I am saying to you. It starts to resonate differently and a little bit on a deeper level than it normally would if there was no sound and if I was just talking. You know what I mean?
there should be like
I know.
prenatal sound baths or
Oh
something.
my God, I know, and I actually like so I know we haven't gotten into it yet, but like I've been teaching prenatal and postnatal classes, And we're also offering, we're on the verge. I can't say too much yet because she hasn't even announced it yet, but the studio that I'm at, we're on the verge of offering classes for people who are trying to have babies as well. And
I
so,
love that.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So it's a different form, but it's to help. One of the biggest things, and I know I said I can't say too much about spilling it anyways. One of the things that she said to me yesterday was how she realizes how much that motherhood and like mothers don't really have access to things whenever they're trying to conceive. They don't know what to do, and like
Yeah,
miscarriages are such a thing, like they happen so regularly to women and people don't know why, whether it's the food they're eating, whether it's their daily life, it's like, I mean, everyone nowadays are way more stressed than we used to be back in like the 60s or 50s because there's so much more going on now, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So that could play a big role into it. But whenever you start to do sound baths and stuff like that, there's so much that resonates. And Julie's best friend, that was also a roommate of hers. She just had a baby, but whenever we were doing our weekly meditations at the London in WeHo, she was there like every Monday and like full belly and all, and she was just full on in it with her with her belly and with her baby. And
baby.
then the baby came out. Oh my God. It's so the baby is so beautiful and it's so calm. You can tell. You can
Baby
tell
probably
like the
thinks
baby
you and
knows my
Julie are her
voice.
parents. They're like,
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, the baby knows us without even actually knowing us.
so funny.
And I think that is so cool. And I totally, like you said, I want to offer that so much to like moms, prenatal, postnatal, because it makes such a huge difference on them, all of their emotions, all of their hormones, and even just the whole giving birth process.
Yeah. And then a part of everything, there's also movement, and you
Hmm.
teach Pilates also. Why
Hmm.
Pilates? I do it myself, and I think
Yeah.
it's not for the faint of heart.
Yeah. I've been in fitness for a long time. Like I played sports since I was 4 years old, all the way through high school whenever I was like actually sick of it. And I was like, I just need to stop. I've been playing for like 18 years. I just need to stop. And even going into college, like I still played, I was still pretty athletic in college, still worked out on my own, still ran on my own. And I feel like coming to LA, I started personal training whenever I first moved here, and which was nothing foreign to me, but I was just searching for something new. And I always did like calisthenic work, always did body weight work, always did core work. That was a huge portion, partially because I like was a model and actor at some period too. So I always did crazy ab workouts, and I thought core was the most important part of movement. And as I started studying more and more and getting my training certificates and just like my professional license and all of that, I started learning how the core was like that's where all the movement in our body stemmed from, like turning, twisting, reaching, bending over, like all of that stems from the core. And so I never intentionally went into Pilates. The place that I'm at now, she reached out to me and she saw my resume on Indeed and like reached out to me and she was like, "Hey, I think you'd be great to teach like mat classes." And I was like, "Well, I've never actually taught mat Pilates, but I've taught like body weight workouts. So I'm sure it's similar to some capacity." And she was like, "Yeah, why don't we just like set up a demo, set up an interview, and just see how it goes?" So I was like, "Okay." So then I started kind of like studying like actual classical Pilates and like looking into it a little bit more. And I was like, "Oh, this is stuff that I do," without me even realizing that I was actually doing it. And so I was like, "Okay, it's all about the breath. It's all about control." And I was like, "That's what I love." So then whenever I gave her a demo, she loved it and I just started teaching there. And then I basically took all my knowledge from the last few years and put it into those classes. And then once people were like loving that and they're like, "Oh my God, I can feel this, I can feel this." And they started coming back to classes. Then next thing I know, the classes started getting sold out and they were waitlisted. And then we upped the class size and then they kept happening. And then we upped the class size again. And
Yeah.
so then it became so popular. I was like, whoa, this is actually a thing. And so now like I just did my reformer teacher training, and I've been teaching for almost almost 2 years now. And there's so much to learn. I feel like I still haven't even scratched the surface with all the knowledge of Pilates. There's so much in there, but Pilates is all about control. Like it was originally called controlology,
Uh-huh.
and I love the fact that one of my biggest things my entire time I've been in sports and fitness was how the breath relates to movement, you know, and how to breathe in terms of that and how you can control your heart rate and all that, even whenever you're running long distance. I was a huge track runner as well. And so whenever I started to get focused on mindful movement, Pilates was that for me. And it was like a professional for like mindful movement to me. And and now there's classes where it's like hot mat Pilates, and you're doing all of this crazy stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is like it's still a version of Pilates. Don't get me wrong, but LA has a way of turning things into more of a workout and more extreme to fit people's needs and the demand. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But originally, Pilates is meant to be slow and controlled movements. And it's like I turn it into more now as well to match like the classes in the studio, but I love the fact that it's all about the breath, about the mind to muscle connection, and feeling that and letting that change your body and then change your mental state because by having that mind to muscle connection, you're also developing new neuromuscular pathways in your brain to all of your muscles. You know what I mean? And I think that has been the biggest inspiration for me. Like I was already into studying meditation since 18. And whenever I moved here to LA, I was like, I know so much about meditation, about the mind, about spirituality, about neural pathways, neuroplasticity, all these things, and cognitive behavior therapy. But I was like, but I don't know a whole lot about kinesiology or about the body and like how that plays a role into the mind and movement. So I did my yoga teacher training and then I was like, well, I want more. And so I just kept doing like other more and more trainings. And I came across Pilates and I was like, this is it. This is it right here. Yeah. And so that's what got me here.
um, how you mentioned control, because a
Hmm.
lot of the times we can't really control our exterior, right? But we can definitely control our
Right.
interior. And you have such a
Exactly.
broad knowledge of like the mental, right? And so then you wanted to learn the
Yeah.
physical. And the physical really
Hmm.
is like a plant when it comes to Pilates, because if you're
Yes.
not controlling your breathing, if you're not controlling your abs, if you're not yourself, then
Hmm.
you're probably on the ground crying like I am half the time. But I guess it's a challenge to really go inward.
It's a challenge, and you realize that even the most simple of movements, even if you're just sitting in all fours, right? That's the quadruped. You lift up one hand and you lift up your back leg going into a bird dog position. Just holding that, you're like, wait a minute, this is
Yeah,
actually hard. Or even if you're just laying on your back and you lift up your knees to just be in that tabletop position, you realize like, wow, holding my knees up right here is actually a hard thing to do. I can
yeah,
feel so much in my body, and I think that Pilates teaches you how to be in control of your body. So you're holding those positions, taking slow, deep inhales, soft exhales, just like you would in a meditation, right? And it's like you're meditating for your body so that way you can be in control of your body instead of at its mercy as you grow older. Like, we all grow older. We all have the joints that don't work the same. It's
yeah,
all hard for us to bend down and get back up once we start reaching our 30s and stuff like that,
yeah,
right? And
yeah.
so doing that Pilates and doing movements like that and learning to breathe and move through that full range of motion at the same time help us in our daily life so much than we even realize it half the time or even can give credit for it.
Um, you need to write like a poetry book and incorporate all of this into it.
You know what? You remember one of the first classes you came to, and you're like, oh my God, I feel like everything you said was like exactly for my brand and what I'm creating
Yeah,
right now.
yeah.
You saying that is like confirmation right now because I literally told Julie in June, we took a trip to Utah, took like a road trip, and we were just wanting a week away, just like spend a week there and then come back like refresh. And we on the way back, I was like, oh my God, I have the idea for my next poetry book because I've written ones before. And I made one as well. I like released the music album back in like August 21. And I wrote a poetry book to go along with that
Mm,
album. Never released it. I just have it, and I was like, I should actually just put that out. I was like, why am I sitting on that? Just get it out there. But as I was like going back to look over that, I had an idea about the next poetry book, and the next poetry book is exactly that. It's literally like I'm calling it a poetic body because I'm taking all of that Pilates work, all the movement, and putting it into words with the breath and how the breath has meaning on the body, on control, on your core work, and then just flowing through that. So you saying that just now is like extra confirmation. Yeah.
Yeah, no, like the merch because I have to. And occasionally you'll see some Pilates books, but they're so technical and there's so much more about
Hmm.
how to do Pilates. But if it was blended with poetry, like that, I think is beautiful. So go for it.
Exactly.
So, what do you think is next for Sound and Soul?
You know, the dream and the vision for it is to be able to move across honestly the world and be able to lead like retreats, lead events the same way that we have in West LA here. I remember one of our biggest goals was to just get booked for a retreat whenever we first started, and within the first 3 months, we got a booking for it, and it was absolutely like mind blowing the fact that that happened so fast for us, you know. So we're like, okay, we just did it. So like, how do we do more? And so now we want to think about how we can. Thank you so much. We want to think about how we can do more of those and make them more accessible, but still like take this across the states to where so many more people need it outside of LA. You know, more and more of the US and more of the world are actually opening themselves up to what sound healing means, what breathwork means, what meditation means, you know? And 5 years ago, it was a thing, but no one talked about it. You know what I mean? No one cared. Everyone thought it was crazy. Everyone thought it was weird. But now people are so open to it because they know the benefits of it. They have a friend of a friend that experienced the sound bath whenever they traveled to California. And now they're going back home to Kansas and telling everyone about it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so it's like we want to be able to take this and go across the world with it and just share and give as much as we can. Just give so much that it feels like receiving to us. You know what I mean? Yeah,
And I think
yeah.
that that's a lot of like what's happening. I like to think that you guys gave me this like big gift because it like really, I think, expanded me on the inside. And now I'm like a walking billboard for you guys. I'm like literally like, have you checked out her music? Have you gone to their sessions? Um,
I love
and
it.
no, I had a friend, she went to one of your sessions and she was like, I'm like a walking billboard for them now too. Like I literally like love what they're doing. So
Yes.
it's like this organic reciprocity, I think, that happens, right? When your
Hmm.
intentions are pure and you really do just want to create impact.
Yeah.
So where can people find you?
You can find so our Instagram is at Sound and Soul Meditations. That's our Instagram, and then my Instagram is G_peoples. And on there right now, it's so much. I've been posting so much fitness because I started my YouTube channel, so you can also follow that, and that's Your Gift of Acceptance, which was my individual meditation coaching and personal fitness brand. So I just started YouTube for that, just for all my Pilates workouts and mat workouts and ab workouts and stuff like that. So you can follow me on YouTube, on Instagram, and then the Sound and Soul Meditations. We're only on Instagram right now, but we're trying to get better about making it more accessible for people to reach out in other ways. And yeah, and then I'm also on TikTok at G Peoples as well.
Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast, being in my life, and for being a really good example to me of like what a good human is like.
Thank you. Have a good one, guys.